All right, let's take a look at page 147. This is section 13.2.2. It's a continuation of 13.2.1, of course, where we looked at nouns. And here we have an adjective that follows the same pattern. Remember, it follows this pattern because there's actually an epsilon in the stem that doesn't show up in any of the forms, but you can see the diphthongs that occur as a result of that epsilon having been part of the stem historically. So again, if you look on the top of page 147, you see that in the masculine and the feminine, you get alethes, alethe, alethus, alethe, alethes, alethes, alethon, alethesin. And all of these forms occur because of these contractions that are happening sort of behind the scenes. The one thing to note is that this is an unusual case of the accusative plural being the same as the nominative plural in a masculine feminine adjective, whereas normally that only happens with neuter nouns and adjectives. Now, the neuter follows the same pattern except for the nominative and accusative in both the singular and the plural. In the singular, we have alethes, and in the neuter, we have alethe. So let's take a look at some of the examples there. In practice 13.2, we have the first word is tele, and it comes from the noun telos. And in the lexical form, it's going to have the genitive as well. And this genitive, as well as the neuter article, all of that is going to be a signal that this is going to follow the pattern of ethnos and alethes, in this case, more like ethnos. And that us is that clue, the diphthong here is the clue that there's something else going on, in this case, an epsilon that was part of the stem. And so here, if you look at the pattern, you see that this is the dative singular. Telos has to do with perfection, but it also has to do with goal or end. So it's sort of an unfolding perfection, or a perfection that has to do with blossoming, growing into what you're intended to be. I find that really helpful theologically. All right, the second word is mele, and that comes from the noun melos, melus, also to. It means member or part or limb. And so here we have the nominative and accusative plural. Nominative, accusative plural of the noun. Section 3, we have skotos, or skotus rather, and that comes from the noun skotos, skotus, to. This means darkness or shadow. And we have this us, which is, we see right here, it's the genitive singular ending. Number 4, we have the adjective asthenes. This comes from the adjective asthenes. This is the lexical form. And it's often going to be put this way so that you can see that it's an adjective with the masculine and feminine the same, and the neuter here that's different. You'd recognize that S isn't a genitive ending, and that's your clue then that this is an adjective. It means weakness or sickness. And so we have the asthenes. Now this is an accusative or a nominative, and this is the one where accusative and nominative plural is going to be the same, even in the masculine and feminine. Let's see, we have the next one is oron. And this comes from oros, orus, to. This means mountain. And this is just the regular genitive plural ending, so this one isn't difficult. That's because the omega is normally a pretty strong vowel, and it sort of overpowers any other vowels that might be there. The last one, let's see if I can fit it down here. It's ethos. This is actually simply the nominative form of ethos, etus, to, which means year. So this is the nominative singular. Again, it's neuter, so it's going to work like other neuter nouns, where etos is going to be the same in the accusative as well as in the nominative singular. So that's how that works.